Hey everybody, got a new product I'm going to be installing in my fifth wheel camper today. This is the PD600 from Frizzlife. It's a tankless reverse osmosis. Hey everybody, my name is Dave, and today we'll be installing a reverse osmosis water filtration system in my fifth wheel camper. This is a tankless unit. It's going to go in underneath the sink. It's made by a company called Frizzlife. The reason why I want an RO system is because it creates the purest, cleanest drinking water possible. One bad thing about RO systems is it strips all the minerals and lowers the pH level, but this little filter right here is going to take care of all that. This is going to remineralize the water, raise the pH level. After this guy does his job, I'm going to be installing this today in a fifth wheel camper. So one thing I have to do before I install this machine is I have to tweak it a little bit. This is the Tvalve that essentially goes on the water supply and feeds the reverse osmosis machine. Now the plumbing in a camper is a little bit different than what you have at home. At home, your water lines are probably 3/8, where these are 1/2 inch. This thing actually comes with some adapters to turn it into 1/2 inch, but the threads on this adapter are a little bit too short for my application underneath my sink. So I went to Lowe's and I got an adapter sleeve with another thread, so this will make it a little bit longer than what comes with the unit. So this should work perfect for my 1/2 inch plumbing in my RV. So if you need to get these parts, these are the bags right here that I bought from Lowe's, and this should work perfect with the Tvalve for the install. So I've got the Tvalve installed. The next thing to do is to install the water supply line. Now we're going to hook up the water supply line to the unit. The next step in the installation process is to install a wastewater hose. These reverse osmosis machines, when they make water, they waste water as well. So we need something to drain it in. The manual calls for installing it in a vertical pipe, but because this is different from home, all I have is a horizontal pipe running at an angle. Now if I were to drill into this is definitely going to cause a leak. So I'm going to have to tweak this a little bit. This is where the pipe comes in, and looks like a clean out valve here. So I'm going to drill a 1/4 inch hole right there in that clean out valve and run the waste hose to this and probably tuck it down inside of this shaft. I don't really want to drill into this. I'd rather go into this because the water is going to come down here and possibly not come back up, but it could leak from this pipe. And it'll definitely leak if I do it up here, I believe. So just a little bit of tweak on the install, doing it in a camper. This clean out valve has a little cap that popped out. So I'm going to take a step down bit, drill a 1/4 inch hole, pop that back in there, run the hose in. Should be pretty easy. Next thing I'm going to do is install this up behind the unit. I'm going to mount it against the back wall. That way this will kind of be out of the way. It'll be behind the unit. Should be safe and sound for travel. So I've got the unit, the remineralization filter unit mounted up here. So this machine should slide right in front of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the water supply lines to that. We're almost done. Okay, so everything's hooked up, I believe as it should be. So now I need to turn the water on to my camper and check for leaks for all the connections. So, looks like we're dry. I'm gonna hook up the power supply. Hopefully have some good water. So my install is gonna be a little unique to a house. There's an electrical port up here to charge phones. So this is plugged in back behind this wall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna plug this power port in there and then plug the power to the Frizzlife unit into the power port. Now just a little word to the wise, if you're doing this at home and you have a garbage disposal and there's an outlet, it probably won't work because you have to flip on the switch to turn the garbage disposal on. So if you use that outlet, the machine won't have power unless your garbage disposal's on. So you may have to tweak your power a little bit at home. But for me, this is gonna work really good having a power outlet already behind the cabinetry. Okay, everything's hooked up, looks good. No leaks. Mounted the power adapter, zip tied it to this pipe just in case there was ever to get water down here. I don't want that coming in contact, whether anything leaked, this leaked, that leaked, anything. So zip tied that. Got my power source over there tucked behind. There's a little panel that'll be replaced here. And we're good to go. Power on. Let's check it out. Okay, got power, no leaks. I can hear the wastewater draining down the pipe, seems to be working good. This is the TDS meter, 29. I believe the water here was reading in the 300 or 400s, so that's pretty good. TDS is total dissolved solids. So it's stripping the water of minerals, bacteria, any contaminants. Seems to be working pretty good. Just wanted to do a test run before I drilled this into the counter. Okay, so this has pretty good water flow. The machine turned off when I turned the faucet off, which makes sense. Seems to flow pretty nice. And machine turns off as supposed to. So one thing I want to do is test the water to see how accurate it is. I'm just flushing the system out. I think it's probably a pretty good idea, being that these are new filters, to flush the system out for just a little bit. So I'm gonna fill up a glass of water. Maybe give it to my meowing cat back here in the background. This is a TDS meter, measures total dissolved solids. It's reading 33, which is pretty good. It's a little higher than the machine, but I'm also running the water back through the remineralizer. It's a hard word to say. So it's gonna raise the TDS level up a little bit, not a big deal. So let's check for the pH balance. Looks like it's about a 6 or a 7. So that may increase as the filter gets used more, but pretty good. So let's do the old taste test. Tastes pretty good. I'm in Florida right now, and the water coming out of the campground is pretty skunky, and it smells kind of like rotten eggs a little bit, which is pretty nasty. So this water doesn't have any odor to it. Tastes pretty good. I think we got a winner. I want to do just a side-by-side comparison of the water coming out of the faucet and see what this measures at. So out of the faucet, the TDS is 265. Now TDS doesn't tell you much, it's total dissolved solids, but you don't know what's in the water. It could be good minerals or it could be E. coli, you just don't really know. So 265 out of this and 33 out of the faucet. So there's quite a bit of difference. And as far as the pH balance goes, it actually looks like it's a little higher pH balance out of the faucet. It's probably a 7 or 8 as opposed to the Frizzlife 6 or 7. But I think that this will probably change over time as that filter gets used. But not a whole big difference in the pH level, but a huge difference in the total dissolved solids coming out of the RO machine versus the tap water. Plus the tap water, it kind of has a weird smell to it, so I'm not going to be drinking any tap water anytime soon. The next step is to mount the faucet into the counter. So I'm going to unhook this, drill, I think it's a 1/4 inch hole through the counter, and then this will be permanently mounted onto the counter. Okay, now for the last step of the install, and for me this was the most difficult step. So I need to drill a hole in my countertop and mount this thing. Now I had ample choices where to mount it. I think I have the perfect spot, so we're gonna go ahead and drill this hole, and I'm gonna mount this faucet up. The bit I'm using, it's a Milwaukee step down bit. You have to drill a 1/2 inch hole for this faucet. So this thing will step down until I get to the 1/2 inch, and I'll run it all the way through. Should be good to go. Okay. So I'm all done with the install of the PD600 reverse osmosis unit. It works great. I couldn't be happier. This thing is neat. It spins around. So if we got a sink full of dishes, you can access the water over here. Super easy. It pours really nice, pretty fast. You can hear the machine turn on when the water comes on. It's not loud or anything. It just kind of lets you know it's working. So today, as I'm installing this machine, ironically enough, someone tried to poison the water supply during a hack. So essentially somebody hacked into the local municipality's water system here and briefly increased the amount of sodium hydroxide, known as lye, by a factor of more than 100. So somebody tried to poison a whole county's water supply. So it really just kind of hit home that you know, the water coming out of your tap, even though it's clear, you may not know what's in it. And this machine right here, I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that I have a reverse osmosis machine. Just so I'm drinking the cleanest water. I had no idea that somebody could hack a city's water supply system, but apparently it happened today, ironically enough, the same day as I'm installing this unit. So I'm very pleased to have this unit in my camper, and I look forward to years of clean water from this machine. Anyways, that's my install of the PD600. Hope you liked it. Hope you got some enjoyment out of this install. Hopefully it helps you if you decide to buy a unit, or any other unit for that matter, inside your camper. And thank you very much. Have a great day.